Hello, everybody. Welcome to Divine Mother Earth Time. I'm your co-host, Marisa Acachella.
And I'm your other co-host, Laura Eisenhower. Welcome to Divine Mother Earth Time, everybody. It is so great to be with all of you today, and we have such a special guest. I'm so excited that she is here with us. Her and I have known each other for quite a number of years. We've done a lot of panels together. We've done shows together before, and so happy to have you back. Welcome, Viviane Chauvet.
Thank you, both of you, Laura and Marisa. Such a joy to be in your presence. I can feel already the celebration of the divine feminine. And yes, we have already known each other for a number of years and many conferences, panel, and even the conference coming up in Illinois. And then it's just wonderful to be here. Thank you for your lovely invitation.
Oh, absolutely. Always. Okay.
We're so happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, let me tell you a bit about Viviane. She is an advanced Arcturian hybrid avatar, published author, international speaker, creator of the several healing art programs, and owner of Infinite Healing from the Stars. Over the past decade, Viviane embodies the presence of the Arcturian Council of the 13th Light Dimension. Viviane is the co-host of the Infinite Star Connections podcast and has been featured in 13 films?
I wish.
Oh, 3. It says
J3 film.
Oh, J3 films.
Yeah.
Award-winning documentary Extraordinary: The Revelations. She is also an author in the collaborative #1 best-selling Guiding Grace book series. Viviane is a true advanced Arcturian hybrid avatar, a conscious interstellar voice channel acting as a conduit for star delegations such as the Lyrans, Sirians, and Andromedans, and other interstellar groups, and also is an emissary for the Federation of Light itself. Her work as an ambassador for Galactic Alliance cements her position as a true bridge between worlds, seeking to foster understanding and unity across the cosmos. Her website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com. She has been on so many podcasts and radio interviews, and it's so activating and incredible to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to go into this question. What has it been like lately? I mean, well, I think maybe we should first start, because I definitely want to talk about what's going on in present time. But what was this like for you when you first realized this, or were able to come to terms with this, or was it immediate when you were a child that you recognized this about yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question, Laura. It was immediate. It's even though physically you look at me and you would say, well, you look a lot human to us, minus some features that was put together quite right. But minus than that, you have to feel an overall feeling that I act, speak, and seem to be just like a regular human. But behind the scene, I feel in my being, in my core of who I am, my essence, I go through life to the eyes of this Arcturian being. So through my eyes I look at this reality as I get to experience this humanoid experience form on the planet called Gaia through the perspective as an Arcturian being. And so even as a child, I knew who I was. Even as a child, I was already in that beautiful symbiotic telepathic communication with my delegation. And there was always so many beings around me. So it was very natural. And because I come from a civilization that coexists as a collective, even as a child, I would more initiate community energies, want to bring people together, wants to recreate that more unification paradigm, to realize that it was not quite the same here. It was more polarized or fragmented. And so that's always been my challenge for me, is how do I reconcile this reality with the profound nature of who I am? Even the way I speak, the way I think, the way my brain analyzes things, it's all interconnecting to who I am as an Arcturian being. And this is why when I say I am this Arcturian being in a hybrid humanized form, this is who I am in my profound nature. I never identified to this physical identity. I realized that's the conduit that I took on to be on the planet. Well, I know who I am. And it's been a knowingness ever since as far as this memory in the 3D life can go. So it's always been my reality. I'm simply now coming more opening, like a lotus flower that is opening alongside the collective consciousness of Gaia and humanity. But this is who I am. I am this interstellar being, and I have returned in a time frame where we knew that the assistance would be much needed. If that makes sense.
Okay, so that makes sense, but let me ask you this. Who exactly are the Arcturians? And where are they? Where are they from? And what is their goal? What is their role with you? And what is their role in the planet right now? And are they involved in creating the new Earth?
We're very much hands-on. We are one of, and I do say we are one of the most ancient civilizations that's been monitoring the progress of Gaia for thousands of years. So we understood that at a certain point Gaia would enter a higher probability of a timeline that will create the reascension process. Or if you look at setting off itself from the karmic loop, I mean, that she was in, and then finally coming back into a reascendant form. So part of our roles, because we have multi-layered of roles, but part of our role, especially for me to be on planet, was to bring one of our own, bring an Arcturian being, a being that is thousands of years old. We've already reached alignment. We've already reached a level of ascension in our own ways, and bring one of our own in this physical form so we can be much more directly impacted the process of ascension. We're here to counteract the dark side. We're here to bring clearing the pathway of this imprisonment, entanglement that humanity has been put into. We're here to help to reawakening the spark in the DNA, the original DNA aspect. We're here to bring assistance to an entire planet that fell so deep into a polarization fall matrix reality, that we bring that soul aspect of Gaia in realignment with our own original divine self. And that celestial realignment is causing a blossoming, if you would call it this way, of reawakening in the heart and souls of billions of life. The thing is, the way we interact with life is we connect with sentient life. So we talk to insect, we talk to the trees, we talk to the consciousness of the planet, we talk to humanity, we talk to the starseed, the ambassadors who are on planet. So we're coexisting, if you would think of this way, we're coexisting with this version of your reality. And we're here to say, look, we're opening the field, we're opening that bridge that says it's time for you to reclaim your own sovereignty. It's time for you to come back among the intergalactic delegations of the community, because you are not an isolated race, forgotten from creation or disconnected from creation and put in quarantine for X amount of generations. Now it's time to bring yourself back. There's a deep, profound awakening is coming through, and we feel it even the way Gaia is pulsating. There's an energy through Gaia that is shifting. So there's an acceleration. So who are the Arcturians? Really, it's something we're going to discover more and more. Arcturians are like these beautiful masters of light. We coexist into different timeline of reality alongside with you. We are millions of years old. We come from a place where our realm is known as the Great Unification. We have unified our civilization through our different planets within our system. And so we are sent out a different place. We're like the great ambassadors, the teachers. Everywhere we are being sent out by a multitude of council to help assist a multitude of civilizations or in the midst of the profound return to that point of divine unification or union. So Arcturians, we will look like more like ethereal almost beings. We're very tall, graceful, luminous. We have this presence. We're still part of the humanoid form in terms of having a head, torso, arms, legs. But we think of us as the future aspect of your own self. We are projecting that future aspect of your own self. I have personally met human beings in the future aspect of where you're going to transform into. We have already communicating with that future aspect of humanity. So what we're creating is we're bending time, if you want. We'll bring all the 2 points of your future self into your actual present time and says, this is what you can accomplish. This is really who you are. It is time for you to reawaken to that point. So we're here to accelerate that re-evolution or that return in ascension. Let's take a deep breath. I know it's a lot of energy.
No, it's great. I mean,
We constantly vibrate, and when we talk as, again, a collective. It's many speaking through the oneness of who we are, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So those on the planet that aren't ready for this activation or remembrance or ability to kind of move into these levels of who they are, I mean, what they could potentially become, and also to experience a planet that's advancing and ascending. What do you see for them, and how do we kind of coexist alongside those that don't look like they're on board with this?
It's a great vision to hold. Think of it this way. If you accept, all of you accept that you are truly multidimensional beings. So a sparkle of you, a fragment of you coexists right here in this form. I always use my crystal. So a fragment of you, this very divine fractal of you, is what is in your body right now. Okay. And the same thing for myself. I send out a soul emanation of my Arcturian avatar self in this humanized form that was engineered by the Arcturian themselves with the assistance of the Andromedan to be here. So if you accept there's only a fragment, a soul essence of you, I would say more than 1% of you. Where the rest of you is, where you are coexisting into multi-space. What that means is that you have a multi-dimensional aspect of you. So you have a multitude of lifetime that coexists with you into the now and may influence you as it is necessary to support your lifetime here, because your lifetime here is the most important one. And all these fragments of you that coexist in time and space, so to speak, are part of your reality. The difference is that from your 3D mental perspective and sensory point, you're perceiving yourself still to a certain degree into a linear form. So for those, for people on the planet, to Laura's question, is what may happen to people who still adhere to there's a past, present, future. I come here, I have one lifetime, I live and I die, and that's it. Well, the masters, the beings of light, and even the solar being says it is still considered as evolution. What it means is that those souls, and there is a large group of souls on the planet that will be allowed to move on into the same, I would say, dimensional space, or the same third dimensional frequency. They will simply allow to move on in the same density or reality structure until they reach another breakthrough in their soul evolution and are ready to move on. It's what we say in clear words is that no one is left behind. It's all about soul evolution. If, let's say, 1/3 of the planetary population as a soul group is designed and meant to continuing their journey on the third density, well, there will be accommodation in sense that there will be an energy or an aspect of a version of the earth that will be allowing to them to explore that, understand our karmic implication, learn the loops, learn the lessons, move into their consciousness, gain more light, and then they can evolve. We do that. Arcturians were masters in that sense. Just allow me just a little bit more. Is that okay? Okay. So because Arcturians are masters of soul healing, what we do is we constantly coach souls who are either ready to leave the earth plane, they're ready to leave what we call the physical biological experience as a human. They will be moved on to another plane of existence or redirected to either their planet of origin, or returning to their star system, or they're simply moving on beyond form. It's just pure consciousness. But the same phenomenon applies for people, and I've encountered them too, who are still on, how could I say that? They're not ready just yet. Their soul still need a little bit of that learning curve to perfect their understanding so they can reach the next level. So how do we do this? How can we coexist with people like this? We bless them, we honor them, we remember that there are also divine beings of light, but at different stages of evolution and consciousness. And imagine yourself that you're simply continuing in parallel to them. You continuing with the clear choice that you have chosen by soul design, that you're going to reascend in this lifetime. I do use the word reascend because we're simply redoing it again. It's not the first cycle. It's not the first time. So we are reascending again, and many of us on the planet, including the two of you, are a prime example of bringing so much work, dedications, consciousness, connecting with Gaia, connecting with our divinity. Well, many of us who play those roles, we know that we bring the anchor, we do the work, and says, my own soul design said, I am simply going to reascend. I lay out the foundation, I brought the message, I uplift as many souls as I could. And now, part of my own individual journey to my soul design, I'm going to reascend. So the probability of what these beautiful beings that coexist into another plane of existence show me is that about 2/3 as a soul group, 2/3 of the people of the sentient life form on the planet will move into the reascension, and just about 1/3 of a soul group of sentient being will simply be allowed to continue to evolve on the third frequency base until they reach the next level. It's not the first time it's been done, and these souls will continue to evolve on a third density base, came from a third density base, either world, planet, star system, galaxy, and they were brought into the earth so they can learn, and they will continue. But overall, what we are saying is that it is still considered as soul evolution. That's the bottom line here, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it does make sense, but I have some questions.
Of course.
So, okay, so the people who are going to, who are going to be going to on the third dimension, right? So that they will be somewhat of, they'll be evolving at their own pace. And then 2/3 will be going to the fifth dimension. What dimension are we talking about? And also, is that the bifurcation that we've been discussing, the new earth kind of thing? Is that what you're referring to?
In a way, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you for the question, Marisa. I know that we've been talking about that, the timeline shift, or we call the crossroad in the timeline, where there's an aspect of a third frequency based planet called Earth will be moving on, and then Gaia herself is really shifting and returning into her original state of grace. And I like to use the word return to the state of grace, because if you feel the vibration behind it, it's very inspirational and is open to every life form, to the bees on the planet, to the animal kingdoms, to all the trees are already transcending. And they tell me that they said, we're going to leave our physical form, we're moving our consciousness into a higher form, and we're moving into the same energy, the same, I would say, resonance field as Gaia herself is shifting back. She's returning back into that form. So as a baseline, what we can share with you is the fifth dimensional frequency, or some people call it density, just semantics here, but the movement of one-dimensional experience to a higher dimensional experience, it is considered as aspect of ascending into a higher form or ascending into a higher state of consciousness. So yes, we are all collectively finally releasing ourselves from first the linear time construct, release the linear time, which is pure illusions. We know that. We're returning into more cosmic universal alignment in that way. We're going to start to feel, even in our body template, there's going to be a luminous activation where the body starts to vibrate at higher octaves. The body is going to start to vibrate faster in their frequencies, which will also allow all of us to hold more light and being able to stand more into a higher state of awareness. It's going to help also to activate into the energy matrix of the spine, an important activation, and we are reopening our field. This is where our multidimensional sensory point becomes much more active, consciously utilized, so we can start to perceive different dimensional, different dimensions coexisting with us. This is where you're going to start to see maybe the elementals or the spirit of natures, or being able to communicate, yes, more with your own star galactic or families or friends or allies or guides, those you want to work with. Because let me tell you something. When I have a gathering of galactic beings or cosmic being coming to my living room, you know how they do it? First, and I witness it with my eyes open, and I can see it just the way I can see both of you. First, I'm going to see a multitude of luminous portal opening. Each portal will have a very unique light spectrum to it. It can be, for example, a light royal blue, or it can be a more of higher golden or aqua colors or magenta, whatever frequency they're utilizing. But each portal with the corresponding light spectrum also send out a conscious signal to my consciousness and allow me to feel first the vibrational signature. So one time I had 5 portals opening all at once, because 5 cosmic groups or group consciousness or intergalactic beings, if you want to call it this way, were coming in, because we were having a gathering, and my Arcturian father was there, my delegation was there, and I could see, and my father would say, okay, we want you to identify each vibrational signature. Who are they? That's Andromedan, that's Syrians. Ah, this is higher vibration. That's the Elven 6-dimensional group. Yes, that's correct. And they will ask me to identify each of these groups. Then one aspect of the delegations will come in, and I would see the being coming to the portal. So that's one way. If I can do it, anybody on the planet can do it. I'm no exception. We simply, again, come from a place where simply have reached a level of evolution that is a bit much further into your future. That's it. We're really here as example to say, hey, remember the potential, remember who you are, remember the encoding that you have, remember that you are part of a very wonderful multiverse and is evolving. So this is a way to adjust your, what we call your multidimensional senses. You're no longer bound by just a 3D sense, where you can feel, touch. And that also go back to your question, Laura, in terms of people who are holding on to a false sense of protection and safety. Well, I can feel it, I can touch, I can control it, and I mean I'm safe, I'm okay. What if you're releasing that little contracted box and you're allowing a full aspect of the quantum intelligence of the universe to co-create with you? What would you choose? Infinite potential or a very controlling, limiting box? I don't know about you, but I go with the universe. I go with this infinite potential. And this is what it is we're releasing our false senses of what we feel, make us feel protected, safe, empowered. That's part of the release of the old structures that we're seeing right now.
Wow. So just how that can really transform like dis-ease and a lot of what people struggle with.
Yes.
What do you see in how that changes a person that might be dealing with something chronic, and how that might even relate to belief systems or ancestral patterns or programming that once is dissolved will really shift that physical vessel and help them to hold more consistency to a higher perspective? Like, is that how it works, or what have you?
100%, Laura, and I'm so thrilled that you bring that up because we see also a lot of release globally on the planet. We see also historical release. So I'm going to start there, going back into the body, like chronic pain or emotion, like depression, anxiety, and all of it. Okay, I'm going to go planetary down to individual because it's all interconnected. What we're seeing in the grid system of Gaia, there's new grids coming in that's going to help to shift, clear, heal, and release finally the old loops of past history. And one thing, an example of it is we have to let go, completely let go of World War II, World War I, any kind of war conflict in the human history, whether it's, disasters and all of this. We have to clear the planet from that historical loop of repeating itself. It affects everything, the ecosystem, how we perceive ourselves, how it diminishes our quality of life, it diminishes our quality of communication with our guides, our higher self, and it diminishes the quality of communication with your own body, the language of your body. So the language of the body will tell you, hey, I'm going to overcompensate for your mental and emotional demands, and I'm going to create solution. And these solutions, you may not like them. It can be like a chronic lower back pain or, to the nerves, connections to the hips, or your feet are not responding, or your GI tract or sleep pattern. Of course, it affects everything. Remember that you are coexisting, breathing, and living in symbiotic connections with all life on this planet. And not just this planet, is everything that's even overlapping in your solar system and the galactic core and beyond. But to make it easier, let's focus on Gaia. You have already enough just to feel it here. So any changes in whether it's the grid system, whether it's the core of the planet, whether it's to the solar gamma energy coming in, whether it's the vibrational state of Gaia expanding, she's contracting, expanding, like a birthing process. She wants to birth a new paradigm. She's ready to birth a new aspect of herself. Of course, it's going to reflect. So people who are resisting out of fear, programming, genetic predisposition, ancestral lineage, bloodline, and I see that every day in my work. So one clear thing you can do is, if you are truly ready to embrace your own spiritual journey, say, I am going to free myself from the entanglement of my bloodline, ancestors, whether it's genetic transmitter markers, genetic influence, personality trait that you brought on from your parents, whether it's, thing that you brought into the subconscious as patterns. Make this declaration. I love love. I connect to my heart. And on this day, my mind, my heart, my body, and my spirit are completely in alignment. And in the power of my I am presence, I declare that I release the influence, the belief systems, the karmic lessons, and anything else that's holding me back in my own spiritual journey, coming from my ancestors, my bloodlines, both on mother and father, past, present, and future. On a genetic level, any markers in my DNA. On a subconscious level, in my body template and historical field, in all aspects of my being throughout time and space. It is done with love. I release you all in the power of my I am presence, with love, appreciation, and gratitude for the lessons, the wisdom earned, the growth, and the light. As I release myself, I set myself free, and I set all my relations free. It is done for the highest and the greatest good of all, throughout space and time, and throughout infinity. It is done. And so it is. Take a deep breath through your heart and release. And feel it in your being. Feel it in your body. Feel it in your heart, in your chakra. Feel even in your spine that you are ready to release them. To says, I no longer need to carry you or carry your life history or your karmic implications or the lessons that you have to learn. I am now being able to step into a new paradigm, a new journey. And there's no need to repeat word forward, but just to get the essence of it. Did you feel something shifting as we were conveying that simple and
Yeah,
yet powerful
I
technique?
did. I also, I mean, if you don't mind, I'd
Mhm.
love to, when we post this video, write that in so people can use that themselves. I think it's
Yeah.
really powerful.
You can
I
take
mean,
a clip of that too, and
what's that?
you just take that section and
Yeah, we could take that section. All right, we need to do that. That was, I mean, my next question to you was, when and how can we hasten the process of ascending ourselves into the fifth dimension or the fifth frequency? So, I'm a cartoonist and a author and graphic novelist. So like when you were talking, I was just imagining like myself as a cosmic traveler, like stepping into another dimension with these bags, like a lot of baggage, right? And as like you were talking, I'm seeing the bags just like disappear, poof, 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 and like letting go of that baggage. So, I would be free like a cosmic journeyman to go into like the higher realms. I mean, so anyway, I just have I had that image
love
when you
it.
were talking. Yeah, okay, so that is the start of how to utilizing what you just said, which was absolutely beautiful. What else can we do to for soul matrix healing and to activate our own healing? How do we act, like that's how we activate, but how do we stay activated, and how do we make sure we're like consciously always evolving and ascending up so we don't get stuck, in this third dimension that we really want to be out of? So what else can you tell us?
Yes, great observation, Marisa. And of course, going back to Laura's question a moment ago, it's all tied up to every day. The moment you wake up, the moment you return in your body,
Mm-hmm.
is you can start the day by setting a very clear energetic intention. And I mentioned that before, but I feel like it's so powerful. I'm happy to share. And everything that we share are designed as tools
Mm-hmm.
to really support everyone. And that also we're speaking to Gaia because she knows she's listening right now. You feel that, right? The presence of Gaia consciousness, the Divine
Mm-hmm.
Mother, it's
Mm-hmm.
very potent. So the moment I wake up in the morning, I first personally, I realign myself in my body and realize that I'm back in this dimension. And also remind myself that I'm back in this dimension by choice because I'm here and I chose to be here to be of service. I chose to support Gaia and countless of sentient life form. Arcturians were very mission oriented. We also very life protectors oriented, meaning that we protect sentient life forms because we recognize sentient life forms evolving as an aspect of the prime creator, the all there is. So we're very well known as well for being protectors. And believe me, we do protect the earth and
Mm-hmm.
we do have the technology to do that. And for those who are not of the light and lesser than, you know who we are. So, parenthesis close. When you wake up in the morning, bring yourself back in your heart. Remind yourself, I am here by soul design. I am here to experiment, to learn, to clear aspect for myself, but I'm also here to be of service to the light. So, what I personally do is I tap gently my third eye, connect to my heart. I take a deep breath. What blessing hold this day? How can it be of service to the light today? Show me. Then I wake up, then I get out of bed. I don't get out of bed before I say that affirmation, that declaration of I create the imprint. How can I be of service today? And what blessing hold this day? So it will already vibrationally align yourself. Yes, we are going to fluctuation and hardship. Believe me, as an Arcturian being in this humanized form, oh, I have been getting my share more than it seems. I don't really talk about it, but I get my share of obstacle and interference and all kind of really fun things going on. So I do. But at the same time, I remind myself that as an Arcturian being, I know that I am part of a very ancient intergalactic. We're very empowering. We're very powerful. We're very loving. We're great teachers. We can be great masters then, so to speak, at the same time. Where we need to step up, we can. And there's an authority about us. So I bring that presence to the human experience that I do. So what I want to recommend is remember that as a soul, as a divine being that you are, that spark of you is learning from this human experience. Honor this human experience. Honor your physical template. This body, perfect or imperfect, chronic pain or no chronic pain, and believe me, I've worked with beautiful souls whose body was greatly deformed, but the beauty and the strength that they hold were so sacred that the body template responding to that honoring, and they're able to function in ways that is absolutely magnificent. And I've worked with so many people from different backgrounds. So honor your physical form, honor this experience, because this time frame, this lifetime that may seem very long and exhausting to you, it is truly a blink of an eye. So what you choose to do with a time frame that is assigned to you is, believe me, maximize that time, because never again will this timeline come back again. It is unique, and it's a unique point in time. So what you can do every day will have an impact on yourself, the quality of your life, quality of your thought, the quality of the vibration that sustain your body. Understanding what chronic pain is teaching you, what history, what genetic, what burden are you carrying, and allowing yourself to opening up more and more through this, what we call empathic response. Your empathic response is one of the greatest gifts that humanity holds.
Your empathy, you mean?
Empathic,
Okay.
yeah, to be
Okay.
is one of the greatest gifts that being a human being is about. Your capacity for love and empathy is known throughout the multiverse. This is why there's so many beings, and sometimes they just come as observer and curious to understand how come that energy can be produced from this civilization, from this planet. So realize that the power that you hold and you're harvesting every day, it's really affecting the quality of your entire environment, including nature. You talk about quality of food, quality of the way your relationship to yourself, to others, communications, vibration. It doesn't matter where you are, what you do on the planet anymore. Nothing is in vain. Nothing is 3D. That's an old label. It's a post-it that needs to be removed, like this. There's no more 3D anymore. Okay, that's an old cliche. Everything becomes a sacred art. ART, the art of being here, the art of discovering what being a human being as a divine, endless, infinite being. You are divine, infinite, endless. Your soul has gone through so many journey. So what is it this experience brings you? So it's really about where are you the most every day, where mentally, emotionally are more invested the most every day. Where are you? Where are you investing your belief system, your co-creative faculties, energies, and where physically, what demands are you asking your body? What do you mean, what demands am I asking my body? Well, if you're so involved in terms of, disclosure, government, thing what's going on around the planet to feed that label of 3D, that your physical form will comply with your demands and push all the energy as much as it can while protecting you and protecting your vital organs, cardiovascular, respiratory, GI tract, all that fun stuff. But your body will say, I can only spare so much energy, so I'm going to create a solution. And that solution can be a chronic pain. I go, well, that's not a solution. To the body, it is. because the body, that's the best way it can catch your attention to say, hey, I'm running to full steam here. So I'm going to create something. If you're resisting too much to opening to your intuition, I'm going to create migraines as a way to catch your attention. If your occipital lobe, like big chakra behind your head, it's too close down, it's going to overflow to your crown. That will create also maybe pressure to your eyes, pressure to the neck, and you start to feel there's a lot of discomfort in your shoulders. It's just examples I'm giving, but to realize every day that time frame, that 24 hours per day that you qualify as time, is where are you invested the most, and how are you giving out your power, and are you easily giving out one of your more sacred gifts, which is your inner peace. So if you're pushing everything out, well, the interior world, your internal system would say, oh, there's a lot of energy pulling out, so I need to compensate. So you may feel more fatigue because the body wants to unplug you to reset. Again, it's just an example. So those are more practical, down to earth, so to speak, ways to understand where are you. This is why I'm here in this physicality. This is why I am this direct bridge with higher cosmic intelligence who have no idea of the demands to be on a planet in this physical form. Believe me, they do. We forgot. We passed that thousands of years ago, remember? So we forgot. We don't know what that feels like. I tell them, okay, this is what we need to readjust. This is, and they can experiment through me as a vessel that demands. I am this direct bridge, and believe me, many galactic groups learn from my experience. So where we are today, collectively and individually, you make a difference. It's going to come to a point where everyone worldwide, no matter where you are, what country or what state or where you are, it's going to come down to the point where are we going to come together, we united together, put aside of our 3D personality differences of language, skin tone, belief system, religion, faction, or ancestral influence. Are we going to come together and says we are no longer going to abide by what the 1% of this minority is pushing into and wants to feed more and more and more into a false 3D polarized reality that is holding by a thread. And I'll tell you what is holding it is all of us maintaining it. And really, you come to the point where that choice, that palpable energetic difference in the timeline will really come, and you're already in it right now. I'm sure, Laura, you must see it in the astrology, the coming, the planetary alignment, all of it. I'm sure it must be speaking of it in spade, because we are in that gateway right now. We really are.
Oh gosh, yes, yes, totally seeing it reflected in the astrology with the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction is really major one in an earth sign. That's just such a high vibration. And then, the North Node with Chiron and Aries, how people really need to move through the wounds and the injuries and where, they haven't been able to understand the root of it. And this is the work you do, which is really amazing. Because, I mean, when you're working with people or when different beings come to you, right? You are a conduit for star delegation. So there's the Lyrans, there's the Syrians, the Andromedans, and other interstellar groups. And you being an emissary for the Federation of Light, can you, talk to us about this in the Galactic Alliance? I know I just threw just a whole bunch out, but does it just come at different times? Do you meet all of them together? Do you leave and come back and go to somewhere else to connect in? I mean, I know you said that they show up, right? But when we're looking at like the Galactic Alliance or the Federation of Light, is it all these different groups? Can you talk to us a little bit about all that?
Yes, of course, with pleasure. What is really amazing, and again, it's a remembrance for everyone on the planet that ultimately you're a holographic projection anyway. So I am on planet with you, but I'm not at the same time. So the vast majority of my being, of who I am, I'm doing a lot of work with a multitude of delegations to our Regency Council. We work very closely also with the spiritual hierarchy responsible for Gaia Ascension. So we're working also with Ascended Masters. I was brought personally in my light body consciousness directly into the realms of light. And what it means being in the realms of light is you are moving out of what's called this physical plane of existence, where there's no more labeling of, well, you're an earth human, I'm an Arcturian, this is a Sirians, this is a galactic being, or this is a planet. When you go back to the realms of light, it's the essence of creation. You return right at the source point. And Master Sananda, who is at the head, is the responsible for the spiritual hierarchy, along with Master Sanat Kumara and other amazing masters of light, are the ones who brought me to the realms of light. And the analogy they gave me is the following. Imagine that you are standing into this very, very large, super large mansion, and all there is in that mansion is light. And Master Sananda symbolically opened like a sliding door like this, okay? And when he slid that door, I could see the solar system, all the stars, the planet. I said, oh, here comes the blue pearl. There she is, Gaia. And then he closed the sliding door as a symbology, and all of this vanished. And he says, so what is left? It's all there is, light. And so Master Sananda and the beings of light who brought me to the realms of light on 3 occasions helped me to understand that the all there is, the prime creator, is experience itself into so many, many expression. So when we are playing the role of a physical being, whether you are Syrian, whether you are coming from Orion's belt as an aquatic being, whether you are Arcturian, we come from the Bhutas constellation, by the way, and whether you're an earth human, when we are in these roles, the synergy of that reality is very important. Like right here, we're here to counteract the dark light. We want to set ourselves free from enslavement, manipulation. We're taking our power back. Many, many beings come and says, hey, remember your power, remember who you are. But once we move out of this paradigm, it doesn't exist in a sense that it's another level of how your soul evolves and shift. I know I'm going well beyond here, but I want to give you a much bigger picture to hold in your heart, to feel it in your body, to know that no more anyone is helpless. You are so powerful beyond words that 1% that I know, Laura, you know very well, and I know them too, believe me, that 1% that has been convincing generations of being on this planet has convinced you that you are the opposite, that you are this small, but you are a giant of light. And this giant of light needs to come back to that reality. So how does it fit in my own world? How does it fit in my day-to-day life? It fits in a sense that if you remind yourself every day, and I am in reality, and I accept about myself, and I am this divine being of light, then you can start to understand that you're reopening your senses to memory to past life, be able to access your own soul akashic record, being able to ask the gatekeeper of the Hall of Records, hey, I want to read the Galactic record for Gaia. Show me. They will show it to you. But you have to have the ability, the receptivity to receive the knowledge that which you seek or ask for. And that's the point we're making here. This is why it brings you back to believe in yourself. So when I am not on planet, where physically I also go to my Arcturian fathership to allow my physical vessel to be rejuvenated, because no matter how healthy or not healthy I eat, there's a lot of lack of nutrients for me on the planet. My body is designed to vibrate at a higher level. So I have to physically go back with my Arcturian mothership. He's in command, and I go back among my people. I can go back into that energy, and it's very soothing for the heart. Very, very soothing. And then my body is put in one of the chamber of rejuvenation. And sometimes they ask me to stay out of body, to not interfere the cycle, but I love it so much back on my father's ship. Then I oftentimes wake up and I want to go and explore and sit down in my favorite place. I have my corner on the ship where I sit. And one of my things I love to do is I look at the earth from space. It's just wonderful. So
Okay, so let's talk about
Fascinating.
this Arcturian ship of your father's,
uh,
which is very interesting. So, all right. So, so you go back into like it sounds like a regeneration tank, like kind of like a med bed. Is that what
No.
it is? No? What is it like? And what do you eat up there? And like, how do you replenish your nutrients? I mean, obviously our food here has been really, messed with, as we know, by the 1% who, are doing all sorts of things to our food supply, the water, the air. But when you go back, what can you describe a little bit more about what that experience is like? It's very interesting.
Well, thank you for your curiosity. I love it. I think it's a wonderful gift. Yes, so we do have most of the enlightened,
Mhm,
spiritually oriented intergalactic group. We do have level of technology that allows us
mhm,
to rejuvenate our body. So you have to think
mhm,
about the soul can remain in the same body for thousands of years if we want, if we choose to, or
mhm,
800 years, or so our lifespan is well beyond what the physical human body construct is for. So we do have over time developed more organic and conscious oriented technology that allow the rejuvenation of our
mhm,
physical form. But you have to think about our body has nothing to do with the way you perceive your physical body. We don't have the same structure as humans. So our body rejuvenate in different ways. So because the hybrid part of me is my body, I'm not a hybrid, I'm an Arcturian being in this hybrid humanized form. So my physical body being the product of mix of a very advanced civilization with aspect of genetic from my human lineage, then my body require certain level of rejuvenation that has nothing to do with the quality of your food. And I do
mhm,
understand and appreciate that here on the planet. But
mhm,
again, remember that you have the faculties to change. Anything that you eat, you can change the molecular structure of it. You're going to
mhm,
learn that more and more. So you're no longer depending on, the quality of the soil, whatever's going on to have quality of food. That's going to change part of your future timeline.
mhm,
So we have this level of technology that has nothing to do with what you have on the planet. Nothing.
mhm,
So no mid beds, this is not what it is. No scalar wave. This is
mhm,
just what we have. It's much higher. And what you would say, but why not just bring your technology to heal everyone? We cannot interfere in the karmic evolution of a civilization. That would be counter universal laws. Yeah.
mhm,
And we cannot do that. So because it is already challenging and quite honestly a miracle that I've been that long for so many years on a planet among
mhm,
the civilizations embodying an aspect of their form, it is very difficult for me to be here. So it's not about the quality or how organic the food are. It's about I need additional form of rejuvenation and nutrients, so to speak, that is non-existing here on the planet. That's where the Arcturians come in. My
mhm,
Arcturian father knows I have a team assigned to me to have my body, because my body was designed to live a certain lifespan. I can tell you I'm already over that lifespan. So that's why they need to rejuvenate my body. Normally, I should have been off planet already by now, but I have more work to do. So I chose to stay. I'm going to be staying a lot longer than we were planning originally. So this is why they need to rejuvenate my body.
mhm,
And it's not food because we don't ingest, we don't have teeth to chew like you have here. It's more of a advanced, I would say, holographic quantum light rejuvenation to make it simple.
okay.
And it is wonderful. I can tell you that. But
Mhm,
without it, my physical form wouldn't be sustainable. So I need both aspects. As much as I will eat certain food to anchor me to the planet, I need the other aspect to allow my physical body to be sustainable. I look a lot like a human, but I am not fully human, and my body knows it. There's a lot of differences.
What does the Arcturian you look like then? Is it different than what you look like here? How does that
Yes,
present itself?
yes.
How?
The one you just mentioned with that doesn't have teeth, right?
Yeah, so
We don't have that. We're built differently. To you, we will look like more ethereal because our body, we do have a physical structure, but it's vibrating at a very high level. So imagine if your body starts to vibrate super high and fast. What will happen is that naturally your biology will shift into a more luminous form, right? It will change that nature. Here on the third dimensional density and at the gravitational level of Gaia, well, your physical template has been readjusted so you can function here. And you have a very heavy skeleton structure, muscular vein systems, the cardiovascular with a GI tract and the intestinal tract, I always found very fascinating. And, other features like this, you have hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, fingernails that you have to trim every 2-3 weeks. So there's a lot of maintenance of the body. We go, that's an experience. It's very fascinating. When I trim my own nails, I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, this is part of the experience, right?
I mean, you must have felt a lot just throughout your life that you're really learning how to be in a human body. Is that kind of how it's?
Totally, absolutely, Laura. So for me, it's the opposite. Is as an Arcturian being or as a cosmic interstellar being, I am learning what it feels like to be a human. So it is what I chose to do. Why? Because I want to feel, understand, know what is it that human beings really needs in the midst of what they've gone through their history, to the influence still holding them back to what is happening on the planet. And Gaia asked us to come. We're here by design. We're here by the calling of Gaia. And remember, believe me, when she sent out her heart center calling, she's very hard to resist, very hard. And so I chose to be here in a physical form that is transcending above and beyond what we've gone through. It took us generations to perfect my physical body. It did not create over time. It took us generation of stabilization, making sure the body would be viable, and the body was not viable. So it took us a long time. And even when my consciousness entered the vessel, the first 3 months, the body was not viable. The body was decaying already. The human system was too weak, and the digestive system was not functioning. And we have to repair and change the template again for me to be here. So we really did above and beyond so I can be here. And again, we're very mission oriented. So we have our mind and our heart set on something. We're going to go for it. But this is why I'm here.
Yeah, so grateful that you're here. It's incredible.
yeah. Wow.
It's a lot to come into this coming from where you are. So I know we got to wrap it up here, and I could talk to you all day and forever. And I look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
First, in the here and now, though, any messages coming through? Like, what has been sort of maybe the latest kind of, I don't know if you would call it download or just in the face of what we're kind of contending with. Is that something you encourage people to just have a lot of neutrality and a big boundary towards, or do we really need to engage in order to change it? I mean, or what kind of advice can you give people about the here and now that we're more censorship, just seems like the insanity is really not dying out. But it also could be in its death throes, right? So talk to us about how what you're bringing forth currently.
And thank you so much for asking, Laura, because you made several points that would say all the above. So we knew that the moment we entered the timeline of 2024, we call what you call a calendar year, we call it a timeline. This is how we This is how we quantify time from our perspective. Remember, we're coexisting beyond, in parallel to your reality. So when we enter 2024, right away, my Arcturian delegation said, you just enter what's called a triple gateway. And what it means is that the next 3 years will be life-changing, like game changer on the planet. 2024, 25, 26. It doesn't stop with 26. We're just looking at the potential of what's coming to the planet. So we have been moving into a huge contraction. January, been February, March, and April, whoa. I mean, a huge contraction. So what happened is that what you refer to as the insanity on the planet, and I like the way you describe it, because it does feel insane. All this energy is been pushed desperately. I can tell the dark light polarity or the denser side is pushing more and more and more to the surface, because in reality, they no more have as deep roots as they used to. They want us to believe that they do, so we can give them the power. They want to be fed by our compliance, our energy, our fear, our anxiety, and to feel that where if I give up my power, well, you're not going to protect us or bring us security. Again, we have to redefine what security and safety really means. So yes, boundaries in terms of what you're allowing in your field, what you're allowing in your mind, it's going to be also accepted at a subconscious level. And once it's accepted, it becomes your reality. So I give everybody an example. I work every day with people they take on personality traits from their parents, or whether it's father, mother, or a grandparents that's been very influential, and it's been worked out as their own. And they think to this day, even 50, 60 years later, that issue needs to be clear. And we said, that was never yours to begin with. You accepted it as a child, either out of love, allegiance, fear, anxiety, protection, coping mechanism, whatever happened, you took on that trait, your subconscious intertwined it, broadcast into your mind, and it became part of your personality. So that's what we're seeing right now, is the releasing of what personality trait or acceptance are we taking on from the 1%. Based on, in exchange for that, I'm going to provide you safety, food, lodging, and all of your basic instinctual needs will be taken care of. Otherwise, I'm going to take that away from you. If we transcend beyond instinctual primal needs, it says, you take nothing away from me, because I'm a co-creator of a reality, and I'm co-creating abundance, quality of food, oxygen, housing, home, community support, resources. I'm communicating with Gaia to rejuvenate the soil, to bring the mineral kingdom into up-to-date. We're going to bring to the universal direct assistance, the redirect, and we're moving in that direction. So what do you have to offer? Money? Or all these, a job that I can work for 40 years, and then maybe if I'm lucky enough and healthy enough, I'm going to enjoy my life later on. These are the structures we need to start to release ourselves from in redirecting what is my safety. And I'll tell you, I am more preaching than pretty words. My family and I just recently lost our home. But you know what? The dark side did that. They say, oh yeah, you're about to really go big, and you're going to activate something right in my DNA as an Arcturian that's going to make a big difference on the planet. We're going to really hit you hard right at the foundational level as an attempt to get you off your path. And we said, no, I'm going to carry more light. I'm going to do more. I'm going to continuing, and we're going to call upon the light workers in our network to find a solution. And we are working on this right now, but here still I am here standing. So take it as an inspiration. So we're going to a contraction. What we're seeing, there's no prediction. It's just a feeling of a potential. What we're seeing is an expansion coming through May, June, all the way to the Lion's Gate in August. We can feel that as we move through the summer solstice. We're going to breathe in a new breath of life of expansion, co-creation, manifesting higher solution, like what home was taking from us, another one is giving to us that is going to support us even more. We're coming together with more compassion. We're setting up boundaries. We're stepping in our light. And we say, no longer am I going to authorize that dark light polarity field or that 1% to dictate who I am. Because when we come together, it's game over. It's done. And that's what we said. Imagine there's millions of you on the planet. How many light workers are there? How many ambassadors, emissary of light have returned? How many of you bring very amazing lineage of information and knowledge you can bring and make a difference here? So it is a time of unification. It's a time to believe in who you are. It's a time to remembering that you're not a human being, remembering that you're a divine being. You are a divine being having this human life. So it doesn't matter if you're star beings or an elementals or an angelic being. It's about how we bring power, and every day, where are you invested? So turn off the news, release yourself from this. Just feed your mind and your heart what's giving you empowerment, what is giving you also the tools, the true knowledge, not to feed the mind with information. That's pointless. True knowledge feeds your soul to inspire you the best of who you can be. Let's activate your true potential. It is a time, the energy, I know it's been very contractive, but there's an expansion coming in. There may be another contraction in the fall, we know that, but it's going to launch all of us like a rocket ship into 2025. In 2025, it's a great, great launching platform. It's an image, I feel it. Huge launching platform. So what you are co-creating right now has so much ripple effect, not only in your life on this planet, but also in the future timeline that coexisting now. That means 24, 25 are completely intertwined in the co-creation. And that is leading to the doorway of 2026 and beyond. So just those are potential of timelines that we see unfolding right now, if that makes sense.
So beautiful, but
yeah.
so inspired, just wonderful. I just love it. This is beautiful. So
It really is. I mean, it also makes me think that the pushback that humanity is getting from the 1%, I mean, we are 8.1 billion strong, right? Yeah, so I think that they are greatly threatened by us. I mean, the more they push, the more powerful I realize we truly are. And once we all get activated, and as soon as we all realize that we are divine light, and say no to like the authorities who really have no authority over us anyway, they never have. It's like, you're right, it's game over. This is what we've, all been saying. I mean, so you're like the perfect guest for Divine Mother Earth time.
Thank you.
I know.
Right, Laura?
Oh yeah. I couldn't wait for this. Yeah.
This is our time right now. This is exactly what you're talking about, is exactly what we're about and what's going on. So thank you so much for everything, for all you do, for all the light
For being
you're
here.
blasting on the planet, and all
Yeah.
your brilliance, really.
It really helps people let go too. I mean, it's so easy for people to feel invested, or for people to,
Mhm.
project. You don't care unless you get completely absorbed into it all.
Mhm.
And what I also just want to ask before we close, when we look at these vampiric parasitic beings, I mean, it's really the problem reaction solution. The authority is really based in igniting people's fear so that they look outside of themselves for the solution. But it's getting, more absurd as the vibration and the awakening, happens. Is there anything that you can say about these parasitic vampiric beings? As we heal, is there an opportunity for a lot of them to begin to redeem themselves and turn towards the light? And if not, where do you see all that going? Still maintaining some sort of 3D control matrix for those that need to be born into it and awaken from it? That still sort of remains, or is that I know that's kind of a weird question, but
But I understand. Let's address the main layer because it's a powerful question. It's a multi-layered one. Yes, we understand that some beings that coexist here will feed off your fear, feed off of your lower mental thoughts, repetition, insecurity, anxiety. So think of it this way. If you are inside of a cast of clay and you start to bring more light and there's a part that's just chipped. What happened is that from that clay mold, it's just an example, it's a figure of speech. So that clay that's been dry up over time, when you tap into it, a piece of it release itself, and then whoop, more light comes. Imagining that clay mold that is equivalent of what this energy is doing or convincing you to do. I know the word parasite becomes super popular right now in feeding or AI and all these beings, and I know that they do exist. But at the same time, go back to the clay model. If you chip more patches of that clay, what would be revealed underneath is the true original design prior to be put into that clay model. So that's an analogy, a figure of speech that says, from inside every day, if you cultivate with willingness, awareness, and presence, you cultivate every day, then I carry more light. I'm a conduit for light. It's the equivalent of piercing through this very negative and oppressive mold. And what you do is you're replacing it with light. I personally have, on multitude of occasions, have spoken directly to aspect of the draconians, the reptilians, and other beings, or aspect of these renegade beings who have come here and established their domain and bloodline and royalty families and all of this. And I'm not going to go any further than that. But I have spoken to them eyes to eyes, and I'll tell you what we said. It was an invitation. I told them, I said, time to redeem, time to remember your pathway to creation, time to reawaken within you the divine being that you can be, time to bring yourself back, start to get yourself out of that clay or that roll so dense that you have to feed and depends on another race just to feed off of light, just to maintain yourself because you have gone so deep, so contracted, so descended. It is an invitation. We are willing, even as the Arcturian, as master of soul healer that we are willing to provide immediate assistance. There's many of us that can provide assistance. Let's bring the pathway back. And some will say yes, and others says, get out of our way. And so we have received so far both aspects. And so we're not happy with us. Always tell me the same thing. They call me, oh, you Arcturian princess. And they always says, why don't you just leave the planet? No, I'm not leaving the planet on it until my mission is complete. And you know that. So why don't you just walk with us? It's time. Leave that authority figure aside, leave that aside, remembering the pathway we are willing to provide assistance. And many have said yes. There's some who still said no. But either way, to be honest with you at this point, to you, it is irrelevant, whatever they choose to do for their own evolution. What matters the most is focusing on your evolution, because by association, you're remembering the pathway for these beings, these identities or civilizations, or these, whoever they are, that they too can bring themselves back to the pathway of oneness. And there will be assistance provided. I wish I could describe these larger than the universe being presence who come and help souls to bring them back in the creation pathway. There are so many presence of light. It's more than the intergalactic groups and the angelic groups and all the ethereal groups. there's so much presence of light, and I have worked with them. I've gone beyond. I have traveled through what's called the corridor that brings you outside of between plane of existence. I have returned to the void. I have heard the presence of all there is, and I've seen a lot of that going on. And I can tell you, it's all possible. But first and foremost, declare it for yourself. Then you can be a beacon of light for others on the planet. It's like a beautiful tree in a yard in the festivity when you turn the light, and the next thing there's hundreds of light in the garden. It becomes such a magical place. It becomes such a transcendent place. You go, wow. And then you want to be there. So imagine if we turn on the light and there's billions of light on the planet. Billions in many forms, not just human form, but there's animal kingdom too. There's also all these beautiful energies, these beings that are with us. So imagining just for a moment. But what can I do? I'm only one person. Well, your one light is part of that billion. So we need you. So yeah, set your boundaries with discernment, open your higher mental faculties, bridge it with your heart, live to the wisdom of your heart, feel it, ask yourself, what does my heart have to say about this? Where am I today? Am I ready to step up and do my part? Whether it's more consciously working with Gaia. No more trashing Gaia, please, okay? Gaia is not a garbage. Gaia is not a storage unit for unwanted objects. Gaia is a living conscious being. Let's live as guardians in consciousness with Gaia. By doing that, you just reach your enlightenment. Ascension is right there for you. So let's come back to the essentials every day, every day. Be conscious, no more trashing, utilizing resources wisely, live in harmony with the entire ecosystem. This is where we are. This is the basic. We're returning back to the essentials. And yes, we could say much more about it, but yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's been
That's so beautiful.
wonderful. And I just want to say real quick, we're going to be at a conference coming up. It is the 12th to the 16th, I believe. And there's going to be a live stream that you can view, and I'm going to put it in the description. And it's 10% off right now. So make sure to sign up for the live stream. And I look forward to seeing you there. Anything you want to share about what's upcoming for you? Any final thoughts, Marissa, first, before we close?
Thank you. I was going to say about the Rebels of Disclosure in Illinois conference, which I'm excited.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
even
going to
say
be
the name.
also. I know, this is why I said, but it's a partnership, teamwork here, teamwork. So this Rebels of Disclosure coming up, it's going to be amazing. Yes, coming up May 12 to the 16th, exactly, with a live stream. I'm going to be in Contact in the Desert for the launch of the premiere of a documentary based on the extraterrestrial species almanac. And there's a documentary coming up. The premiere is presented at Contact. I'm going to be part of the Q&A with the cast and crew on June 1st. Then the documentary, the film, will be available worldwide. And I'm going to be on Galactic Origin seminar at sea in December. Imagine cruising, being on the cruise ship with like-minded people. Galactic Origin with Portal to Ascension and Divine Travels. I'm particularly excited about this one too. It's coming up.
To be on that one. And you're going to be in Glastonbury, you said?
And I was in Glastonbury last year, not this year.
Okay. So, but the cruise, yes. And I'm hoping to be on that if all goes well. So awesome.
Yeah, Galactic Origin. Right on, Laura, you have to be. I mean, it's perfect, right? December 14th to the 21st, right in the winter solstice. Yes. So I know I took a lot of time. Ladies, you've been so patient, gracious, and open, and we want to thank you, both of you, for your life, your presence, your dedication. And I know the pathway has been quite rich in experience and ups and downs. But just so you know that as you continuing more and more the presence of the light is going to become much more, I would say, predominant on the planet. It's coming through. There's a force. Can you feel this wave coming in? And it's really time for great changes. There's no more time to play small. It's time to be the giant of light that we are. It's an analogy. No more small. We are giants of light. Let's step up together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.